Good morning. Today is June 21st, a week from my last show that I did in Houston, Texas, the Summer Shredding Classic. And so I figured I'd wait, give it some time. I put some thought into this year's competing and this year's, contests and things like that I did. And I really wanted to just record it, not necessarily for entertainment. I just wanted to document, the way I feel now, my thoughts now, because, a year from now, if I decide to compete again, which I will compete, maybe not next year, maybe give it a year. I don't know though, we'll see how I feel. But I just took some time, wrote down, I don't know if you guys can see that, hopefully it focuses right there. Come on, focus, come on. There we go. So I wrote down some of my notes about just my thoughts that have kind of been going through my head over the last week after competing in such a big show. It's a hard show, and even in the smaller shows that I did earlier on this year. First thing I'm going to show you guys is my, as you saw in the intro, the things I've gotten. You guys saw that I won first in novice class A, my first show, second in open in my first show. So I'll show you guys what we got. So I was number 2 in that show. Oh, and I wore these red shorts in every single show, which is okay. I competed in those all in 2018. But wore number 2. Got some sweet swords at Battle of the Bodies. That's what we got for winning. But I got first place, and I did you guys saw this in a different video, but I got first place there in novice, second place there in open. So really enjoyed Battle of the Bodies. It was my second show. I did the last one there, but my first show in 2018. I did last year's. Okay. Anyways, that's kind of jumbled. It was my first show in 2018. It was a smaller show. Really enjoyed it. It was cool. I got to do like a pose off with novice, and it was just a different experience, and I think it was really good to get that feeling in the first show. Second show, this was the Oklahoma Championships right here. This is what you got. I got 4th in this one, so it was a lot bigger show, bigger than the Battle of the Bodies. So I got 4th in this one. Wore 79 there, red shorts, same thing. I enjoyed that one too. It was it was a national qualifier, so it was a little bit bigger than Battle of the Bodies, but I realized that and there I definitely need to come in bigger, and I've realized that throughout the whole thing. So my third show was a Summer Shredding Classic. This is with Christian Guzman. It was his show. He put it on in Houston, and the show was amazing. The setup, amazing. I think it took some of the worst parts of the old shows, and he was able to fix that and make some changes to that and make it better. Flowed really well. Loved the show. So with that show, I didn't get anything, actually. I don't know what place I got. I know I didn't get top 3 or top 5 because I wasn't first call-outs. And so really this show, oh, it zoomed in just a little bit. The show was very humbling for me. It was a lot bigger show, 230 physique competitors, 17 in Class B, the class I competed in. And these guys came in and they looked phenomenal. Definitely did not deserve to be in the top 5 or the top, the top 3, top 5. I didn't deserve that. My conditioning wasn't good enough, wasn't big enough. Would I say that was any worse than when I came in for Battle of the Bodies Oklahoma Championship? I don't think so. Wasn't the best. I had Oklahoma Championship 2 weeks before the Summer Shredding Classic, and I shouldn't have eaten as much as I did after the show. But it's just that's just something to know and to remember for next time. But again, they came in great conditioning. It was humbling because it made me realize that when I'm here, not necessarily that Tahlequah is this small little town, but when I'm here, I feel like I'm on top of the world. But then when I go there and you realize, people are working just as hard as you. People are pushing themselves past to what is comfortable. They are they're just coming in great conditioning, shredded. I thought I knew what shredded was until I went there, and then I realized you're not shredded. You are not near as shredded as you think. So that's something to remember about going on for the next couple of years when I start competing, is that I can push myself a little bit harder. So the first takeaway is that, prep sucks. Losing weight sucks. But it's worth it when you get up there on stage and look better than somebody else. Now, I'm not trying to bash anybody, but when you beat someone because someone else thinks your physique is better than theirs, it is such a good feeling. And so it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth pushing yourself past what you're used to, because I think I can do that. The second one, it kind of goes with that one, and it kind of goes with what we were talking about before, but I can push myself harder than what I did these last couple of years. If you're out there, you can push yourself harder than what you think. You're so much stronger than you think. There's people out there working just as hard, even though, you're sitting there feeling sorry for yourself. Why do I gotta do this cardio? Why do I have to restrict myself? Why do I not get to eat and other people get to eat? And that kind of goes with the third one, is that no one's gonna feel sorry for you. During this prep, you can complain to someone as much as you want. I did. And they would give you advice and things like that, but in the end, no one should feel sorry for you. This is my decision. If you're doing a show, this is your decision. So don't let anyone feel sorry for you. Own up to what you decided to do, which was the show. And I decided to do 3, and I complained way too much during those shows, and I don't want to do that to anybody, because no one likes being around someone that just complains 24/7. Now, I'm not going to say that I won't complain a little bit, but I do need to remember that no one should feel sorry for you, and most of the time no one does feel sorry for you. And the fourth thing is, this year I got pretty lean early. I hit 153, I think, with like 12 weeks left, which I competed at 150. And I was so scared about being smaller and like not being able to do this and that I didn't even push myself past that. I only went down 3 to 5 more pounds. Lowest I got was at 148, and that was 12 weeks. 12 weeks I could have pushed myself that much harder, and I didn't. I need to realize that I don't need to be happy with where I'm at. I need to be proud of where I'm at, but I should never be complacent. I should be always pushing, right? Even if I do get lean early, I should be able to keep getting leaner. I don't think I should like starve myself to get that way, but I think that I could have pushed myself a lot harder towards that. So, and I need to remember that the plateau is a 150. They're not meant to be sustained. They're meant to be broken, especially on prep. If I'm trying to maintain, great. I'm glad that happened, but I'm not. I'm trying to push past what I've never done. So, and then the 5th thing I put down for just some takeaways that I need to remember for next year is, of course, try not to be so moody, which, that's going to come, but I need to remember that they didn't do this to me. They shouldn't feel sorry for me. I shouldn't feel sorry for myself. It was my decision, and I shouldn't take it out on other people just because I'm a little hungry, right? But that's kind of the takeaways that I want to remember for next year, just kind of in general. But next I want to go in about the workout takeaways. So the workout takeaways is I need to remember to just do what I like to do. I had a coach, and I'm not bashing on the coach. I'm not saying anything. He did great. He did a fantastic posing. He did fantastic. But I remember I need to do what I love to do, because there was times in prep that I was dreading working out, and which I think will happen, especially when you're not getting a lot of energy coming into your body through food. But I remember that I need to stick to, just the things that I like to do. That way it drives me to be in the gym. The second thing is, I was scared to do cardio early just because it's cool to say, I didn't even have to do cardio, but I need to remember not to be too scared to do it in the beginning and a little early, even if that's just 2 times 30 minutes per week. Because I went from, I I didn't do very much cardio, especially in the beginning, and then I just hit it hard. I hit it real hard. So I need to start off more slow. Not necessarily that I didn't start off early, because I did do cardio pretty early, but I started 4 times a week, 20 minutes. No, 5 times a week, 20 minutes. What I would need to do is slowly, 2 times a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, instead of just like boom, boom. That way maybe I can break through those plateaus when my calories have dropped too drastic. So, and then the third thing is I need to do my best to just to maintain my strength. Instead of, I think it's great if you can go up, but in terms of being in a deficit, it's gonna be really hard to put on weight, so I need to remember that when I'm doing it. And I just need to think about, maintaining my weight. That way I maintain my muscle. So that's the workout part. The next part is just a show in general. And that is that, to have fun with the show. I think that's so important. If I've worked my butt off, why did I not just enjoy that a little bit more? Have fun with the show, relax, all the work is done. So yeah, I just need to remember that for next time. The second thing is that I was freaking out so much about peak week. Oh, I'm gonna look so much different. You're not. Conditioning is much more important than the last final week. Now, the last final week can make you and break you, but if you don't come in conditioning, peak week's gonna do nothing for you. You can fill out as much as you think you want and spill over because you're not lean enough. So conditioning is far more important than having a perfect peak week. That leads me right into the third thing. So the third thing is, for peak week, I don't need to be doing anything out of the ordinary. You don't either. Sorry, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Don't do anything out of the ordinary that you're not used to. If you're not used to, I don't know, something for, let's say you're not used to pasta, and you want to carb up on pasta. Well, that might spill you over. You know what I'm saying? If you've been doing sweet potatoes, if you've been doing potatoes, if you've been doing, oatmeal, that's what your body's accustomed to. And that's what I've learned is I don't need to be doing anything out of the ordinary, bringing in pasta or something crazy that I haven't done, waffles and pancakes. Well, I'm not saying you can't have that, but I think that that's more the safer options, that no peak week is going to be perfect. No set peak week is going to be perfect for everybody. The third thing is my first 2 shows, I had no water in me. On Friday going into Saturdays, no water in me and no sodium in me, and I could not get a pump. I was flat as could be. I was pounding carbs, and the carbs had no sodium on them, and I just couldn't get a pump. With the Summer Shredding Classic, I still think I was too conservative. I think I underestimate how much I can eat and fill out and look more vascular, and things like that. But the water and the sodium definitely helped with my pump. I felt bigger going up on stage. I felt a little bit more vascular. Okay, so the last thing I have, and is the most fun thing, is post-show. So post-show is great. I loved getting to eat whatever I want. But especially if I have a show after another show and then another show, if I'm doing those back-to-back shows, it's super tempting, but I need to try not to eat my life away. It was so stressful being so high in weight after all the sodium and all that kind of stuff, and trying to lose that all just to get back on it for the next show. So I don't think it's necessarily like horrible if you have that, and I probably will, but if I'm doing show after show after show, I don't need to eat my life away. I think a good cheat meal, or something, maybe something a little bit closer to my macros until the end date is better. And then I just watched a video over Layne Norton, and he talks about the set point theory, and that's really scary because I ate like crazy, and so I'm holding my fat cells. But if you guys want to know more about set point theory and what I'm talking about, I'm not going to go into depth about it at all. It just basically means that you have fat cells that are this small, and there's this many. You go and eat after a diet, and they grow to this size, and then they double in number, and then they have to go back to that size. So it's just leading you to maybe be harder to lose the weight for the next time and to potentially gain more weight. So if you guys want to see that, go to Layne Norton, type that in YouTube and find the set point theory, and you guys can look that up if you guys want to. But the second thing about post-show I need to remember, which has nothing to do really with eating or nutrition, but just the tan. Next time I need to prep my skin right, and I don't scrub like crazy that next day. I give it about a week before I really start scrubbing hard, because it's not gonna come off until about a week later, and then I just look like I have these diseases. And you can see it a little bit in my neck, but still, it's not near as bad, and everything's coming off a lot better this time around in this final show. And then another thing for the post show is that if you do happen to eat too much, hopefully it's your last show. You don't have to get ready for the next one. You can kind of just play it easy and relax. But if you do happen to eat too much, it took me about a week to 10 days to go back down, and that was after one. And so this show, I had quite a few days of just eating. The first day I really went crazy. Second day, okay, actually I went crazy in about all of them. So, but it'll take me about 7 to 10 days, maybe even a couple weeks, to really get back down to where I was at. So there's no need to stress out about it as much. Okay, so that wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's just me sitting down talking, but my next video I want to talk about my reverse diet and going out of that and why I want to do that. So I hope you guys stick around. I know it was just me talking. It might not have been the most entertaining one, but this is really just for me to document it and to remember it for next year, and hopefully you guys just found some joy in seeing what I've learned from these shows. So hopefully you guys stick around, see me for the next video. Peace.